evolving your hero power, you'll have an active use of hero power, and the class that you choose, suddenly will have a completely different type of game.
That's right. What's interesting, too, about the Inspire mechanics is you already saw one of those interesting cards, but we'll talk a little bit more about it. But usually hero powering is a sign of bad news.
Right.
It's like, well, I have to use this because I have no other options, or
inefficiency.
I lose some of the important tempo of like my momentum coming into the game. But in this scenario, it felt very cool that Blizzard was going to focus on, especially since some of those cards, they felt like it required some setup, right? You need to play it. You need to be able to get some time to gather it so your strategy can work out over the course of multiple turns as opposed to trying to make something happen right here, right now.
Exactly. And from what we saw already, the lowly Squire, now we have 2 Squires on one mana. The lowly Squire, you can play him on turn 1, and you can use your hero power to basically deal with any 2-drop. So he substitutes for a 2-drop, and maybe get a little bit out of control. Oh, we have some new cards here in Amaz's hand.
We have something called the Totem Golem, although I can't see the description of it. Go ahead and pull it up. The Totem Golem apparently is a 2-mana 3/4 minion that has an overload of 1. So now a lot of people criticize early game
And it's a
drops.
totem.
Oh, it counts as a totem. There you go. It's also from the Totem Tribe.
The Totem Tribe. All right. Yeah, that's obviously a great 2-drop. I mean, with GVG, we had a 3-mana 3/4 neutral card, and that really blew people away. Now we have it on 2 mana with Shaman. Shaman just keeps getting just amazingly powerful threats on mana curve.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people often feel like Shaman struggles when they don't have the ability to seize the board early, and that's going to be a very key card to handle rush decks. So I'm looking forward to it. But already an interesting choice. We have the Kodo Rider, which Inspire summons a 3/5 War Kodo. So every time, Crib, you use a hero power, you get a 3/5 Kodo.
So this is basically like a card that's a must-kill on the board.
Yes.
Yeah, and obviously you want to save it until you can hero power, otherwise this may be a bit too vulnerable, so it's kind of like a turn 8 play. It's certainly a win more card, but maybe you can tempo out with protecting it with some cheap taunt creature, something like that.
You know what's really great is one thing that I know a player who's very well known for analyzing cards, maybe getting a little salty, is Raynat. He always talks about how it's really important to be able to have win conditions that aren't 9 mana, 10 mana.
Right.
You can have cards. Grim Patron was one of them. In this case, Kodo Rider is another way for decks to have lower curve win conditions.
Yeah, and it's also neutral.
Oh, wait, hold on. We have FG Secret.
What was that?
When a friendly minion dies, summon a random minion with the same cost. Now that is interesting too, because that has the same effect as Recombobulator. Is that not?
Yeah, it is. It is a Recombobular effect, but it also triggers kind of like Duplicate. So, what can you really expect?
I don't know, man. At this point, I think anything can happen because with a random minion, you're able to go outside the classes once again, which feels like Mage's specialty at this point. You have Unstable Portal, you have Effigy, and now it's like you can pull any card from any deck in Hearthstone, basically.
Yeah, cards that work well with the Recombobulator are often ones that have a lot of value in their Battle Cry effect, and in other cases when they are kind of like Giants, when they have cost reduction. So cost reduction cards are going to work really well with Effigy.
Oh my goodness! We have... Wait. Okay, so this card, the Fallen Hero, improves the Mage hero power to 2 damage, making it like the Hunter hero power when it has the Stormwheel Needle Sniper, as well as the
Steamwheel Sniper.
The Steamwheel Sniper as well.
That's right. But considering you, as a Mage, you can get off 10 hero powers on the same turn, this card maybe is a little stronger than it seems.
Right. It goes with the dragon.
And this is one of those things you have to keep in mind. Like, what we're seeing today is just a slice of what the tournament has. It's not going to be too many of 130 cards, I'd imagine, but we'll see.
Yeah, because now we have to understand that in context, things change a lot when you get to see the 130 cards as a whole batch. It's certainly really interesting to see how Fallen Hero can combo not only with the dragon, but also the Maiden of the Tree. It's not, they don't want us to spoil everything just yet, Crib.
Yeah. I'm not actually sure what's happening.
Yeah, so my anticipation is potentially that the card here just may have misregistered.
Okay.
We could just flip POVs. Not a big deal.
There he is.
It actually happened.
He's right there.
Yeah, it definitely happened.
And Amaz got one of his own.
And Mage seemed to have picked up Wrath from the Druid class and Mirror Image.
And Mirror Image, that's right.
Those are 2 cards that aren't very useful, but Wrath can be pretty versatile in this.
Right. So Amaz can do a Sarad totem play. He can create a totem with the totemic, but if you play Sarad, you definitely want a hero power in the same turn.
Okay.
A lot of these minions are... oh, wow. I would say
well, that's a 1-mana fireball to the face.
Maybe. It's a very educational card, I heard.
Yes.
You learn a lot about the game.
Oh, yeah. The one time you learn about it is probably the last time that you'll ever have to learn.
All right. Well, we do get to see all the spells that were produced that we didn't see earlier. We have the Wrath. We have the Mirror Image, as you mentioned. I just want to see some hero powers fly, really.
I think there should be a gentleman's agreement to just hero power and leave each other's Sarads up from this point on. That's what I would like to see, because I think
just to
wacky
explore what's in the game right now.
Yeah, I say why wait for the Cholin video in 6 months? Let's have it today.
Yeah.
All right, 1 spell here.
Thought Steal.
As if he needs more cards.
Yeah, he's not
don't belong to him.
He's not going to be able to play that out this turn too well.
Mass Dispel. Now, remember, the Drake allows him to hero power as much as possible, and thank goodness that they finally start keeping track of where those cards originate from, because I would not be able to keep up.
Well, that Eye for an Eye might yet... Oh, nope. He does go for the ping face.
Wow, he plays
just in
around.
case it's Eye for an Eye. I believe it could have been Repentance.
It could have been Repentance. And he has Savagery, which it only clogs his hand, so he's going to go ahead and use it.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and drop that.
You know what? I have to say that was a pretty impressive turn from Trump. You know, that was a little complicated with how things ended up playing out, but you know, he started to recognize the situation and adapted to it accordingly.
Well, we really do get to see the strength of some of these cards. While the new Legendary hasn't produced too many crazy spells yet, the Dragon certainly has had quite a bit of fun. Multiple hero powers a turn, the Koldara Drake. It's also interesting, being a dragon, it adds to the tribe. Wow.
You know, it's flashy, but there's still a big threat on the board. Remember, you can hero power as much as you want as the Mage.
That's right.
If he draws May in the Lake, that means next turn he can effectively wipe the board effortlessly.
Well, with Amaz dropping more than 5 health worth of stuff this turn, hero power is not going to deal with it. Trump's going to have to use some of his actual cards. But he's going to get some more.
That's right. Well, I guess right now it's just it's a kid in the candy store. What does Trump want at this point?
I think he wants some more spells.
All right. Let's start it off here. Cone of Cold. Wow, well that's
a pretty good acquisition.
I mean, he already has the big brother of Cone of Cold with Blizzard.
That's right.
And that's smart too. He doesn't want to get too greedy, because you can overfill the hand with spells by hero powering and maximizing the effect, but you burn the card as well.
Yeah, these cards that have a lot of hand interaction are also very complicated to play, because it's very difficult to anticipate how you'll play them in the next few turns.
Yes.
You know, when you're dealing with just your one turn now, it kind of makes sense. But when you want to consider what you'll do next turn, the turn after that, it allows for some really high-level play. All
right, well, Amaz is going to dig deep in his deck. We saw another card there that we didn't see prior to that.
Yeah, that is the Draenei Totem Carver.
Say that 5 times fast.
No, just the one will do. Just the one. So it's a 4-mana 4/4 the battle card to get +1/+1 for each friendly totem. And there are 8 totems, apparently.
Right.
So that can get quite a big buff. You can have only one of each of the hero power totems out, unless you like panda them back or do something crazy like that. Right. But you can have as many as you want the other ones. So ultimately, this is kind of like Frostwolf Warlord.
Right. Just gains a buff on.
Yeah, but playing it on 4 is really nice. So.
Understood. Understood. Well, I mean, Amaz might not get a chance to, because there's a lot of damage to come the other way. And it looks like he drew his Neptulon at the moment. And Neptulon is really cool because it gives you a lot of cards and refills your hand, but does he have enough time to do something like that?
All right. Well, that's Lightning Storm.
That's really effective again.
I didn't know Lightning Storm was a 0-attack, 0-health creature.
You know, desperate times calls for desperate measures, and Shaman needs a little bit of help, and Blizzard's answered the call.
Whoa. We didn't talk about that feature, but so what's going on here?
Well, I think Shaman is in big trouble, Crib.
He is in big trouble, but he's going to have a pretty big Draenei Totem Carver coming up.
Assuming he can live that long. Oh, but he did manage to wipe the board, though, with that Lightning Storm, which was key. But that card advantage, and that's what something like the Sarad can do. It can generate the card advantage in situations where it's really tight. You never know if you draw the one removal piece for a big creature, and then you end up having it survive, and it brings you back into the game.
Yeah, one of the win conditions when you're playing a control deck against anything but a combo deck is just drawing or creating a lot of cards, because that makes it so you just are very unlikely to win because you'll haven't answered anything played.
That's going to be really useful, the Emperor Thorson reducing a full hand like that.
I heard that card is pretty good.
It's rather effective if used in a full hand, especially when you have cards that draw more cards to give you more synergy with it as well.
All right. Well, those are some pretty good Murlocs. Small ones and a War Leader is really as good as you can hope for.
Do you think if he has such a full hand that even Cold Light Oracle wouldn't be bad? Because sometimes you don't really want Cold Light Oracle because you help your opponent draw. There's so many cards, though, I feel like he wouldn't be mad at that either.
All throughout this time, I'm still thinking about that Effigy Secret, you know? I feel it's really strong with some of the cards that are just about good enough these days. Like even Belcher.
Yeah, remember, you can be pulled by Mad Scientist. So it even gives you some more tempo with whatever you play following, so you can have something stick on the board. Yeah,
it's instantaneous. It's not like Duplicate. Duplicate, you invest for later, but Effigy happens right now. So if you have these creatures with multiple abilities or battle cries or death rattle effects, you kind of get that little bit of extra on your investment.
Oh, man. That is a full hand Thorson. Can Shaman begin to push, though, because he does control the strongest minion on the board?
Yeah, you're right. Trump is not going to be able to get another board clear unless he draws into it like immediately, I think.
Second Blizzard.
Yeah, it has to be another Blizzard or something from the Arcane Intellect. Maybe there's a Flame Strike in the deck. The players know what's in their decks, but we have no idea.
Oh, but I do believe that this is where cards like the Dragon might even be useful, because normally... Oh, okay, well in this case he can't really do it because you end up going for a face. I like that attack. It's very sharp by Amaz. He says, I'm not going to win by trying to make you play the card advantage game. I'm just going to try to rush you while I can.
All right, well, I'm still looking at that Thought Steal. I'm still looking at that Arcane Intellect. I want to see what's in these decks, basically.
Trump,
I don't care about that. We've seen most of the other cards.
I think Trump was also counting on possibilities of, following turn lethals or whatnot, but I only count maximum of 10 damage this turn. If he silences everything, he pushes.
All right. Well, looks like he wants to stall a little bit.
Doesn't have a direct answer to some of this. He just draws...
He gets a Thunder Buff Valiant and the... was that the 3/4 totem with
Totem Golem, right? Where
Totem Golem.
It's a minion, but that's something interesting too. When you're talking about stealing cards, a lot of people always think about stealing cards that don't help them, like Shield Slam when you have a class that has no armor. I guess Shaman gets a little buff against cards that try to steal against them.
I think my favorite card so far is the Totem Golem. It just looks like such a cool little dude.
Yeah, he's pretty fierce. His face is on fire. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And here comes the War Leader for some beatings.
How much damage can he maximum do this turn?
No, it's not quite enough. It just looks like the 11. He'd go through with the 4/2 and the 7/7 if he wanted.
Yes, it seems to be that case here. Unless... Can he set up for a 2-turn lethal as well, being able to push for a win next turn?
Perhaps. You kind of want to clear the board a little bit to play more Murlocs to make your Murlocs bigger. But besides that creature, you kind of don't want to lose any of them.
This is really tough because, again, these are like new cards, so you have to be worried about the timing of it. If you hero power normally to test for what you get, then the Lowly Squire doesn't get the buff, but the longer the Lowly Squire stays in the hand, it gets weaker. Okay, so he loads up a full board, even heals up some of his totems, making it better for...
Yeah, that's a very good heal totem.
Yep.
Frostbolt, not quite enough.
Could have used that last turn to potentially win.
Well, what do we have here?
We have a handful of
It's normally hard to guess when you have like 10 discounted cards to begin with, but now we have 10 discounted cards, including new cards, including priest cards.
Yep.
And we had some other shaman cards earlier. There's another effigy.
Yeah.
And again, the creature on the board is a great target for it.
That's true. It's a 5-mana minion.
It's a 5-mana 3/3, so when it dies, you get an actual minion, and you took advantage of the battle cry already.
Right. Generally speaking, that might turn into an average of 5 attack, 5 health-ish around there.
Yeah, there's always decimals in those, but yeah, I have no idea what they are.
I just rounded up.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is an answer to the Neptulon by frostbolting it,
right,
giving him one more turn.
So Neptulon goes down. A lot of the damage is down now. And the Totem Golem.
That's right, and that's why it's friendly totems only. Otherwise, if you got buffed by all totems, this game can get pretty out of hand quickly. Another Kodo Rider.
That's a great spot for it. What I think Amaz is really looking forward to is, let me try to get the name here. It's that Thunderbluff Valiant. And we know there's one left in the deck because I believe Trump thought stole it. So the Inspire effect is to give your totems +2 attack. He's got a lot of silenced totems. This is often a problem when you're trying to play as many minions as you can each turn, because they just take up dead space.
That's a good point. You know, sometimes the totems can be completely nullified of an impact, especially like taunt totems, for example. You silence that, you can never get the taunt totem again until it dies. And then we can finally have an opportunity to buff those totems to fight back.
The funniest thing is, Trump now has the Qualdara Drake, and he also has the Thunderbluff Valiant, and he also has a totem, the Totem Golem.
That's right.
So if he develops those creatures, he can actually buff his existing totem by 10 attack.
Oh, he gets the taunt totem too. That can be pretty critical to protect his. It's a 7/7.
Yeah, looks pretty powerful. I like how a lot of these cards are really powerful in certain situations, but if you compare it to, you know, Frostwolf Warlord, Frostwolf's a powerful card, but, you know, it's not, like, super overpowered.
Mage is out of cards, by the way.
Oh, how about that?
And Amaz was calculating this and potentially the way he can kill his opponent if he starts taking fatigue damage as well.
Interesting. Well, that's probably why the Arcane Intellect stayed in the hand so long.
That makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
So what Trump has in his hand is all he has to work with, but it is pretty powerful, assuming it can work out the way it is. He has that combo of Maiden, the Lake, and the Dragon, which is, you know, the most appealing combo, but not always.
It's just that 7/7 is so threatening right now.
Yes. Especially because he doesn't have a way to directly remove it, as far as I see.
I think one of the most interesting plays might be the Sneeds, just because it's such a gamble for Amaz to kill it. But if Amaz does kill it, it still can be a big problem.
Sure. Makes sense. Well, in this scenario, Trump can only ping once with his hero power, but the next turn, if the Maiden survives, might have an opportunity. And this game's gone so back and forth here. This is exactly what the Shaman wants to do in this position, because it can finally draw into some cards that exercises board control. Although it's missing that really important key card that you were talking about.
Yeah, the buff the totems.
Yes.
If there was some totem buffing going on, he'd still be 2 damage short of lethal.
He would be, but he's going to try to fight for board by just using the Kodo Rider.
Yeah, this just sets up a massive threat on the board.
Taunt Totem. It's pretty awesome here.
I think Amaz is just trying to stall out as long as he can. He knows that if he wasn't dead last turn, nothing new is going to kill him this turn.
Yeah.
Because there's no more draws.
His opponent had 7
right.
damage on board. Could he have used like Fireball to kill him? And I believe that Amaz is also familiar with Trump's deck in its entirety. We didn't want these players to be thrown out in the dark completely. Be like, well, I have to play around 700 cards. I'll be familiar with the 30 cards.
So the players are far more familiar in the decks than just about everyone else, actually. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Trump was anticipating that Amaz would go the Fatigue Shaman route, but this is what the game has come to at this point, and now he has to adapt. But I don't know how much he can fight for the board if that keeps spawning 3/5.
No, it's not. His totem gets buffed here. See? Bam! 5 damage.
Oh, that's right.
So Trump can stall it as well, but the problem is that he's the one that's taking fatigue damage that keeps ramping on up.
So he's the one on the clock.
And the funny thing is, Effigy is particularly awful right now. In fact, Duplicate seemed pretty good. Oh, but he couldn't play.
I think he valued board so that he can get as much time as possible to end it.
So here comes Maiden of the Lake. Of course, the Maiden of the Lake ability does not stack.
Right.
It sets your hero power to 1, making it so you don't have an infinite damage combo with the Koldara Drake.
No. Well, I think Amaz really wanted to value the taunt totem as well. It's a good point, though. The hero power is only 1. It can't be reduced to 0 as far as we know.
Yeah, so far from the cards that we've seen, the only new infinite damage combo is Sorcerer Apprentice, Lock and Load, and get Arcane Shot every single time.
Yep. Arcane Shot, Arcane Shot,
right.
Arcane Shot.
It can happen.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to happen sometime.
Off of a Pilot Shredder, it's very realistic.
Yeah.
Because the Pilot Shredder can drop that Sorcerer's Apprentice. All right, Sneeds comes on the board here, and Effigy almost ensures that something will stick onto the board, and I have a hard time finding what Amaz in 1 card can do to turn it around.
That does not seem like it can do enough.
Certainly not, considering that he needs to buff the totems and not draw off of it. And I think Amaz realizes what time it is. Trump managed to take a very nail-biting game here and be able to wrap up the first game with a win.
Trump comes 1 game closer to attempting to defeat the Hunter of the World Champion.